This episode of the New Medical Nomads podcast is brought to you by Nomadicare. Now, personally, I love Nomadicare. I've used Nomadicare, and I recommend the company to all new travelers. What Nomadicare does is it takes the fear out of getting set up with a bad recruiter, which is the biggest fear that you have jumping into this journey. So they sit down, they interview recruiters, they vet them, get them on a list, and then provide them to you as a free service, as a free recruiter matchmaking service in order to get you started on your journey. Now, usually you only get 2 recruiters going through Nomadicare, but being a listener of the show, you can get 3. So this is how it's going to work. You go to nomadicare.com/Dylan. You will get set up with 3 recruiters to be on your dream team, as well as a guide to get you started on your journey.
Hey Nomad, this is Dylan, and I'll be coming at you from Thailand and Bali. But welcome to a series of blogs that have helped me along my journeys, along getting started and being a medical traveler. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the New Medical Nomads podcast. I am your host, Dr. Dylan Callier, and today we are talking about Hawaii. And thank you for joining another bloggers episode where I'm reading blogs to you guys as I'm on my big adventure out of the country. And this one is by The Traveling Traveler by Julia Kuhn about Hawaii travel healthcare assignment. Is it for me? That is the title. I have not worked in Hawaii, but want to. And I know many listeners reach out about Hawaii because there's a lot of special things that kind of come up when you have to move so far away. And so I wanted to bring this to you, to the listeners who are interested in working in Hawaii. So here is the blog, and dubbed the How to Hawaii episode. Hawaii is an island paradise. For some people, it can be the dream travel assignment. For others, it may be better left as a dream vacation. Taking a travel assignment in Hawaii is not as simple as hopping in your car and driving to your next job. It takes planning, money, and the right fit to enjoy this travel assignment in Hawaii. Here are some things to consider to determine if a travel assignment in Hawaii is right for you. Number 1, the Aloha Spirit. The Aloha Spirit is not a saying. It is a way of life in Hawaii. Having the Aloha Spirit means that you have to think and act good towards others. It is a way of life in the culture of the islands. If you don't live and practice Aloha, you may find yourself having a hard time adjusting to work and life in Hawaii. There is some special things to keep in mind for those who will be getting their licenses for Hawaii. I'm going to leave it for after this culture part, and we can leave about why you have to be strategic about which and when you get your Hawaii license. The culture. Along with the Aloha Spirit, knowing and respecting the culture of Hawaii is an important part of living and working there. Respect to the land, people, and spirit of Aloha are all important factors to the culture of living and working in Hawaii. There is a distinct Hawaiian culture as well as a melting pot of cultures from around the world. Hawaii is a diverse place. If you welcome others, they will in turn welcome you. Hawaii is proud of its heritage, and as an outsider, you need to be respectful of the culture, the land, and the history. It is also a melting pot for cultures around the world, including Filipino, Japanese, Portuguese, and Chinese populations. Being respectful to these cultures, the history of Hawaii, to the land is an important part of living and working in Hawaii. And so with the Hawaii culture, everything is pretty laid back. From what I hear, the traffic can be bad, but everything's pretty chill. Everything's pretty relaxed all along that Aloha Spirit. If you decide to get a license in Hawaii, remember that for every license that you hold, that if you have to apply for another state, they have to wait for the verification of all the other licenses that you currently hold before they can move forward and give you theirs. That's just their state rule. And so if you have one state license, they only have to wait for one state license before you get your next license. It doesn't take that much time. If you have 4 or 5, now it's taking more time because they have to wait for all of those to come back. And if you have Hawaii's, they run on a different schedule than the rest of the US. And so it will take more time for Hawaii to get that license verification to the state that you're wanting to work. Again, this is just from what I've heard from other guests on the podcast, from other people who have worked there. And it's not that the distance is so far and they actually have to physically send it, but Hawaii is just more relaxed. They're not in a big hurry. If you are in a big hurry, it's not necessarily the place you want to be in order to get stuff done. This is completely generalizing, but if you are planning on holding onto that Hawaii license to wait for that dream job, there might be some small consequences and some small challenges that come with it holding onto a Hawaii license. If you're trying to quickly get another state license while you're waiting for that job, or if you're just holding on to it because you might go back. Next part is bring 2 bags at a maximum. When you speak to travelers in Hawaii, it's common to hear people say that they flew here with whatever they could fit in 2 bags. While technically you can ship your stuff over the Pacific, the point of the 2-bag stories is really that less is more in Hawaii, and the culture is more minimalistic. You can come ready to work with 5 pairs of scrubs, a couple of bikinis, and light clothes for your days off. No need to pack heaps of outfits or shoes. Your wardrobe may seem a bit boring and on repeat, but it's functional. You will find yourself in the same casual attire day after day. Let's get into the price of paradise. Also like the minimalistic lifestyle. I'm so glad that my vehicle is smaller. I was actually very worried about that when I started traveling, but because it's smaller, I really have just the essentials of what I need. And I still feel like I still have a little bit of too much stuff. And so as you go into traveling, as you get with every contract, you'll gain a few things, you'll lose a few things, and you get to go through all your clothes, everything like that, and really be selective of, okay, I haven't worn this in the last couple contracts. I'm probably not going to wear it. So the price of paradise. It is expensive to live in Hawaii, period. Poverty and homelessness is a major issue across the state. Not to mention, families deal with the harsh financial climate, and multiple generations will live in one house. Solar panels are used to produce electricity, and AC costs a fortune to run. In addition, food at the grocery store may cost double the price that you are used to on the mainland. If you're a traveler who is only interested in making money, do not come to Hawaii. Repeat, do not come to Hawaii. The bill rates offered by hospitals are not high. After a hospital pays the cost of electricity, food, and the cost of uninsured patients, there's a heap of money. There's not left money to being earned. Many of the hospitals in Hawaii are struggling financially. If you have a lot of bills to pay or a high mortgage at home, Hawaii may be better a vacation destination than a contract. And I've also heard that for many travelers who financials are their primary goals, that it would be better for them to just travel and vacation there rather than actually take a 3-month contract at the state with the cost of licensure, with the cost of getting there. And then also something to consider is that you don't have your vehicle. Some people might look into shipping their vehicles. I have not ran into anyone that's shipped their vehicles over yet, but I have heard people buying cars while in Hawaii, driving, and then when they're ready to leave, they sell it before they go. And so that is an option. That is what I usually hear of. And so definitely, if you're considering Hawaii, consider what you're going to do about the vehicle situation. I'm not sure what it costs to transport a vehicle by ship that far, but I can't imagine it is very cheap. And if you're going into a situation where you're not expecting to make that money back, it is definitely something to consider, and definitely something to consider with the length of the stay that you're going to stay. If you're only going to be there 6 months, probably not worth shipping the car out. If you're going to be there longer, it might be worth it. Outdoor adventures. Hawaii is full of adventure, from the beaches to the mountains and everything in between. If you are a beach bum, a hiker bum, a surfer bum, photographer, or just a plain adventurer, you will fall in love with endless outdoor activities. Island time. Things move a bit slower on the islands. If you are somebody who needs to get something done immediately, in a hurry, or you like to move fast, you may find some frustration in Hawaii. Instead of stressing for things to move faster, embrace the slow-paced island life. So island time will make sure that you have to wait in order to get that next state license. Being in the middle of the Pacific. On the map of the US, Hawaii looks like it is a hop, skip, and a jump from California. If you have not been there, it is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Hawaii is approximately 3,000 miles from the coast of California. A flight to LA takes around 5.5 hours, and a direct flight to Atlanta or Newark takes around 10 hours. A round-trip flight to the West Coast may cost anywhere upwards of $500 and upwards of $750 to the East Coast. It is not cheap or easy to get from Hawaii to the mainland. Needing to attend family or personal engagements that require you to be at home may be difficult in Hawaii. If you think you may get homesick or miss family, this is also not an ideal assignment. So Julia also has a lot of tips on what to pack and how to find housing, and also one on how to find transportation while you're in Hawaii. And so I'm going to click on that one. We're going to go to that one as well. So Hawaii travel assignment. What do I do for transportation? And this is the second article of this episode. A travel therapy or nursing assignment in Hawaii can be a dream come true. But once the initial excitement of getting the job is over, reality sets in. How do you get there? What do you pack? Where do you live? And what do you do for transportation? Here's a few good options for transportation in the Aloha state. So here we're going to talk about the shipping the car and other options for you guys who are thinking about Hawaii. Shipping your car may be a good option if you will be staying in Hawaii for more than 3 months. Otherwise, you will likely have to pay for car storage if you leave your car behind. Remember that it takes time to travel in Hawaii. It can take 5 to 7 days to cross the Pacific, and then more time if your car has to stop at the main port in Honolulu and then ship to another port. When determining the price, remember to include the cost of a rental car in your shipping budget. So it's not immediate. It's going to take a week, maybe longer, to get that car there. If there are boats that leave from the West Coast that will ship cars to all kinds in Hawaii, the cost is around $900 to $1,000 plus one way, therefore costing up to $2,000 per round trip to get your car there and to get your car back. If you are on the West Coast, this could be a reasonable option. Some of the companies that she mentions, companies to ship to Hawaii include Pasha Hawaii, Matson with a T, as in T-Rex, and Hawaii Car Transport. Again, all this information is going to be in the show notes along with the articles, so you have direct access to those as well. Buy an island car, moped, and sell it when you leave. Island cars refer to the beat-up older cars that run for hundreds of thousands of miles on the islands. They get passed around from owner to owner as people come and go off of the islands. You can buy an island car for as little as $2,000. Julie says she's seen less, but I would anticipate at least that much. Or a moped for as little as a couple $100. The issue with island cars is that they are what they are. They are older cars with lots of miles. You could have to deal with any number of maintenance issues while you are driving them. The great thing about island cars is that they really do not depreciate in price. If you buy a car for $3,000, you will probably be able to sell it for $3,000 when you leave. The problem is that selling the car when you leave takes time, and you may be on a time crunch in order to leave the island of Hawaii. Places to buy a car. Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, per your island and town, and groups specific to each island have a constant sale of cars. But be cautious of scams and never buy sight unseen. Most buyers will want cash only, no checks. So heads up on that. Public transit options. So Honolulu is specifically the public transit that she talks about in this blog. Honolulu on the island of Oahu is the medical hub of Hawaii. The city has a wonderful public transit bus system that connects the city to most hospitals. Queens Medical Center, Straub Clinic, Kuakini Medical Center, and Kapualani Medical Center are all on the major Honolulu bus routes. If you are working in one of those medical centers, consider finding housing on a bus route. You can buy monthly bus passes from 7-Eleven and ABC stores. The passes do sell out, so try to buy a couple of the passes days before the first of the month. And for the night shifters, as of April 2018, the number 2 bus is the only bus that runs 24 hours. So if you're out there currently trying to figure out transportation and you are a night shift nurse, number 2 bus, again, when this episode comes out in 2018, is the only bus that runs for 24 hours. And walking, the website to use for that is www.thebus.org. Again, that will be in the show notes as well, or you can go directly to this blog by The Traveling Traveler by Julia Kuhn, and all the other information that she has about packing, about flying there, finding places to house, places for housing, all you could think of when you're trying to get to Hawaii. Walk or ride a bike in Honolulu. In Honolulu, it is also possible to walk or ride your bike to work, depending on your location. If you're living and working in the city, consider getting your exercise by burning calories to and from work. And because the traffic can be pretty nasty. Renting a car. There are many options for renting cars in Hawaii. This may be something that you want to do to negotiate into your contract with your agency. Many travelers choose to rent a car while on the islands. Coordinate with your staffing agency to see if they can find you any deals on car rentals. A car rental may cost upward of $800 a month, depending on the island. If you are lucky, you may find a local who rents island cars to travelers as part of a housing package or at a lower rate, like $450 a month. Craigslist, Facebook, etc., for all the local deals. For those that are thinking about renting a car, if you go through your staffing agency, usually I don't recommend going through staffing agencies for housing. However, they do have employee discounts most of the time, especially these bigger staffing agencies. So a lot of times they'll have employee discounts for rentals for cars, and also sometimes like extended home stays and things like that, like hotels. They can also, so make sure you get a list of that from your recruiter. And if you're able to use that to your advantage on your way to Hawaii, you can absolutely do so. So renting a car through your company, I never suggest getting housing through your company unless you're just totally averse to try and avoid that situation, because it's very emotional. It's very stressful. It's the most stressful part for me. But you can absolutely rent a car through the agency. Just know that if you rent a car through the agency, it's probably coming out of your bucket of change, or it is coming out of your bucket of change. And there might be a way to use their company discount, because you are a W-2 employee, without having to have them directly rent the car. So it kind of depends on their company rules. If you decided to take public transit to work and still want the island experience of having a car, you can easily rent cars on your days off. The one she suggests is Enterprise Car Share and Zipcar for Honolulu only. Those two allow rentals by the hour. And these services are perfect if you need to run some errands or do like a half-day excursion with all the amazing hikes that are available in Hawaii. Other options: grabbing a cab, Uber, or Lyft. It is in Hawaii. Popular ride-sharing services, Uber and Lyft, are available on Oahu, the Big Island, Maui, and Kauai. Cabs are also frequent in the streets. If you need to ride a ride to and from work, make sure to specify your pickup location. In the mazes of hospitals, drivers can easily get lost trying to pick up riders. Transportation in Hawaii can seem overwhelming, but with proper planning, it can be a breeze. Determine what your needs are and what makes sense for your schedule and budget, from shipping your car to buying to renting to taking the bus. There are many options to get around on the islands. If you have any questions about Honolulu, feel free to contact Julia in the New Medical Nomads Facebook group. Also, again, going to put all these blogs down below. She's got more specifically for packing and another one for finding housing as well. That's a pretty good read. So thank you so much, guys, for joining on this bloggers episode. If you're looking for the next episode of the New Medical Nomads podcast, you can find the official launches on New Medical Nomads podcast Facebook page. If you want the early access to these episodes, you can go to YouTube, subscribe, follow on Spotify, and subscribe on iTunes. And for all those who are engaging, who see these posts and share and comment and leave reviews and subscribe, it means so much to me. And all that engagement allows more people to see it. And so when more people are able to see this great information through these bloggers, we're able to help more people, which is ultimately the goal of this show. So thank you so much, travelers. Thank you so much, nomads, for being a part of my community and reaching out. I love connecting with you guys. It has been the biggest surprise of this podcast, is connecting with other guests on the show and connecting with listeners like yourself. And if you ever want to be on the show, reach out. I'm the sucker for a good story. I love sharing the stories on these things and helping travelers make the best of it, live their dream and assemble their dream team to make everything happen that they can make happen. So thanks so much, guys, and all you nomads, have safe travels.